Alright, in the spirit of Dragon Ball Daiyama, we're going to create a 4-star Dragon Ball, rather a 4-star Blender Ball. Alright, let's delete the principled shader. Let's add in a LSM, connect that up. Let's move it over. Okay, let's add a few more layers. And the first thing we'll do is just get the base color down. So let's crank up the mask, crank up the opacity, and let's select this base color. Alright. Okay, now let's add the symbol here in the middle. So let's do a specular node. Let's connect the alpha into layer 2. Let's smooth shade this object. Alright. Let's select the color. Let's bring the range up a bit. And let's place it somewhere in the middle. Okay, now let's add our image texture. And let me select the Blender logo. And we'll pump this into the opacity. We'll bring that range up. Yeah, we'll bring the range up. Let's Control T. And for now, let's scale this down a bit. Let's change it to clipped instead of repeat. Let's bring it up in the Y. Bring it over in the X. And what I want to do real quick is I want to unwrap this ball. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the UV space. And what I'm going to do is just select the edge back here. Alright, let's mark the seam. Select all, UV unwrap. And I want to turn this texture into a square so we can better place our texture on it. So we'll select these two edges, scale in the X position, 0. Select these two, scale X, 0. Select the top two, scale Y, 0. Select the bottom two, scale Y, 0. And let's select its face, then L select the rest. UV, unwrap, follow active quads, and we will select even. Alright, now we have our square. Okay, we don't need these two in the way. Now let's go here, rotate 90 degrees, and we can just bring that up here. Alright, now our ball is unwrapped. Now we can go to 1, 0. Let's go to the front view. We can just bring that over in the middle. Let's scale it down just a little bit, and let's bring it back to the middle. Okay, next we'll add this first rim light here. And let's go Shift A, LSM node. Let's go with the rim light. Let's bring this over. Let's connect that to layer 3. And now let's select our color. Alright, now we just need it to show up on the other side. So that's where these come in handy. Let's go with -20. Let's get this about 0. Yeah, about 0, somewhere around there, 2. And then 200, rather 300. Alright. Now let's scale it up just a little bit more. Okay, Cool. Let's collapse the first rim light. So now, if you see, we have this little separation here and like a gradient in there. So what I'll do, I'll add a second rim light with the same settings. Bring that into layer 4, and I'll select that base color. And what I'll do is just bring it down some. Then the first rim light, let me just bring it up a little bit more. Now I have that separation. Okay, now we're gonna add the gradient in between. So what I'll do, I'll grab one more rim light, throw that into layer 5 mask, and I'll grab this orange color, bring up the range just a bit, bring up the softness, and now I have my soft shadows on the ball, on the blender ball. All right, now I'll go ahead and add this outline here. So we're gonna go into the LSM panel and let's select outline. We'll mask layer 6. Let's select the color. All right. Bring the range down a little bit. So now you see we kind of lost our little separation there. So what I'll do, I'll grab this first rim light, bring it up some, then I'll grab our second rim light to add that separation. Then I'll grab this third rim light with the softness and just add my shadows, my soft shadows in there. Okay, so next is going to be the 2 specular nodes, or a few speculars, where we have this big one, this small specular, and then we have like a glow. So let's go up here, add a couple of more layers. And I'm going to skip layer 7 for now, and I'm going to add my first specular. Gonna throw that into layer 6. I'm gonna make that one white. Just gonna bring it up just a bit. Let's throw it over here on the side. Let's bring the range, yeah, about right there. All right. Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is add this second specular, the small dot. So I'll just Shift A, specular, pump that into layer 9. Let's make that white. Let's bring the range down. Alright, let's move it over into Y. Move it into X. Let's move it into Y again. Let's say about right there. I like it. Let's move it into X just a little bit more, about right there. Okay, now let's add a soft specular. So what I'll do, Shift A, add another specular. We'll pump that into layer 10. Let's bring the range up just a bit. Let's bring the softness up. Let's change the color to white. A little bit more range, a little bit more softness. And let's just move it down. Let's add a little bit more range, a little bit more softness. Just like that. I like it. Okay, next we're gonna add the actual rim light itself. So for that, I'm gonna have to add one more layer. right, let's Shift A, go to the LSM panel, add a rim light. Let's pump that into the last layer. Let's make the color white. Let's bring the range up. Let's adjust the X a little bit. Let's adjust the Y. Let's go negative. Yeah, I like that. Let's bring the range down some. Let's bring the range back up. I like it a little higher than that. All right, I like it. Let's take a look at it. All right. Now let's look at it through the camera. Okay. Okay, now let's add the 4 stars. So let's let me get this out the way. All right. So let's go into the shader panel, Shift A. Let's go image texture. Let's add my 4-star texture, Control T. And we're gonna pump that into layer 7, right underneath the outline, to where it sits on top of that outline. Then we'll take the alpha as the mask. All right, and there we have our 4 stars. Let's just place it in the middle. All right, I like it about right there. That looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Okay, now we're gonna make the 4 stars in the Blender logo, follow our position to where it looks like it's on the inside. So what we'll do, let's start with the actual Blender logo. Let's duplicate the mapping node with Shift D. Let's pump in the camera. And for now, let's just make everything default, 0 and 1. Now let's pump that in. Okay, let's go here. Now, let's just bring it down. Let's bring it down. Oops. Let's bring it down some more. Throw it in the middle. Let's just make it a little bit bigger. All right. It's roughly in the middle. Yeah, it's roughly there. All right. Now we're gonna do the same thing to we're gonna do the same thing to the 4 stars. So let's go here. Matter of fact, let's move it down some. Let's duplicate the mapping. Let's pump in the camera location. Switch that. Let's look through the camera. Let's bring that over in the X. Bring it down in the Y. Okay, so let's take this off real quick. Let's go back. All right. Let's reposition. And I'll show you how to make it stay. So let's reposition. All right. From the camera view, the 4 stars look good. I'll just scale it down just a little bit. Oh, wrong one. Let's scale it down. First, let's connect it. Let's connect it to the texture. All right, let's scale it up some. about right there. Alright, so now I'm going to shift this cursor to selected, shift A, and I'm going to add a empty. I'm going to scale it up so I can see it. And I'm going to parent the blender ball to the empty, and I'm going to get my camera, parent the camera to the blender ball empty, Control P, keep transform. So now when I rotate, it stays, looks like it's in the middle of the ball. Follows the camera. I can grab this empty, place the ball wherever I want. And let's say I come here and I want to shoot from this angle. Control Alt 0, and bam, it's still in the middle. So there's ways to control it. Okay, so this is going to be the last tip. What we're going to do, we're going to actually put this texture in the middle of the ball. So we're going to go Shift A, Image Mesh is Plane. When you select your texture, you want it shadeless. It's going to go to the middle of that ball. Alright, so what you want to do now is come here to your blender ball. Let's go with a outline node. Let's crank up the softness, crank up the range, and take this mask, throw it in the alpha, and then we'll change our texture to blended. And then we'll go to layer 7, drop the opacity, and just like that you have the blender ball. What you want to do, you want to grab this texture, connect it to the empty, Control P, keep transform. Now you can just come and have a more, not realistic, but a more 3D looking ball. And another thing, if we go here to the shader panel, let's turn off overlap and shadows, and that's a lot better. There you go. There we have it. Lovely, lovely. Alright, so that's pretty much it. That's how you make a Dragon Ball, rather a Blender Ball, with the LSM Layer Mask Addon. This project will be free. You can get off GUMROAD. The link will be in the description.